collage-like aesthetic that always exists in my work from way back. So that's the way of working. Use everything that just to remind you of what works. And also there's something quite, there's a selection of books that were made recently, all very sparingly using the same piece of transparent packaging that was found on the coast, which combines handwritten text corresponding with where the images are inspired by. Very top of the head stuff from darkroom prints, predominantly. It's very much a collage-like aesthetic, which also includes more experimental ideas, where this is a piece of X-ray film that I printed, so it became a positive. In these marks here are droplets of bleach which have been left on the exposed areas of the X-ray film and then rubbed off, so you get this strange, almost like saliva or coral marks that appear, which I've never blown up, I've just left as they are. It's quite nice marks. And that one's a different type of print, but the same process, bleach on exposed film. Again, I'm keen to emphasize the narrative aspect of a book, and these small 35mm contact prints taken on a journey of a beach nearby, and just trying to open a book up. I kind of contradict myself that by putting too much in collage-like approach, just trying to keep it as empty as I can. And also a lot of the text is almost like things that are repeated, almost like a mantra. As is this, to live in the moment like dogs. But they're very valuable to me, these books, because almost in a way they become more important than the actual artwork, because it's a visual diary. I think maybe sometimes it's a comfortable thing to work in books because you don't treat it as precious. You know, if one page isn't working, you just move on to the next, which is something you can't do with when you're working on a larger scale artwork. You've got to do a bit of planning. But in essence they're the same as books I was making 15 years ago, albeit they're a little slightly more evolved or sophisticated. I'm not sure. Okay. Is another piece from earlier on. Again, just trying anything. I'm trying to keep things quite sparse. But invariably, once you start overlaying images, it quickly comes on top. But you know, it doesn't matter. What's interesting for me on this piece, just on newsprint again, is just the way when it's wet, using enamel-based spray paint, it starts breaking up, it can't hold on to the paper, so you get these cracks appearing, which whilst it's wet can be moved around. The best will in the world, seeing people who make paintings of the sea, I find it really strange to watch or to look at paintings that have meticulously painted waves laboured, when a wave to me is something that's violent and expressive, and I want this work to be like that, you know, to show that aggression and you know, that kind of feeling of being overawed by something that's powerful. So that's the effect I'm going to try to achieve. Okay, so this is another piece again using damp newsprint with emulsion and found objects laid directly onto the surface and sprayed. I'm trying to keep just a sparse palette. It's just black, white, with some silver. This is a mixture of carborundum and black powder paint. So I'm interested in the way it works with on damp paper. Again, it's drawing parallels with things I see every day, you know, being on the beach every day and using the kind of powdered feel to replicate sand. And they're very much experiments which I'm keen to kind of start working on the aluminium panels here from a commercial printers to transfer, to have that feeling of wet on the panels and then placing the paper on top. Putting in this rudimentary printing techniques of laying a sheet on top and then going over that with the roller and lifting it off, peeling the paper away, transfer some of the marks, these wet fluid marks. Again, the thing that really fascinates me more and more is the movement of the sea, and that on some sort of subconscious level, things that you see every day. It's taken a good few years to filter through to find that that's really where my interest lies, you know, not in terms of making a nice painting of a seascape. So it's just to try and interpret that movement visually. It isn't a photograph.
Yeah.
But I think that's the right way to work. You know, where that quite spontaneous feel which the sea never stops. It's constantly going. It's constantly moving. Therefore your painting should be like that. Kind of kid myself that I want it to be quite calming and tranquil, but the sea's anything but. It's constant movement. Sea, sand, sky. You know, that's the exhilarating thing about it. So the painting should be like that. Maybe it'll get calmer, I don't know. I like getting that kind of, I don't know, almost desperation. And just that, you know, and especially in the winter where your hands are freezing along there and he's struggling to take photographs, and it's that wild, raw feel. It's not the Mediterranean, it's the North Sea. It's got to come across in the paintings, otherwise it's just nothing. It's fake. There's no blue skies. No blue skies. Well, now and again. When you work here and you live and work here, it's got to reflect it.